Firepower wins battles. Logistics wins wars. Discover the US Army's complete lineup of World War II transport and supply vehicles that powered Allied operations across Europe and the Pacific. Starting off with light utility vehicles and passenger cars. Willys MB. This was the ultimate workhorse of the war. It saw action on every front. It proved its worth through mud and sand. It was simple, it was tough, it was easy to fix in the field. Up next, Bantam BRC-40. This was the design that started it all. Only a few thousand were made, still it set the standard for lightweight scout vehicles. It was remarkably agile. The crews who drove it loved it. Ford GP. This early model featured a distinctive flat hood. It used the modified tractor engine. It performed well during initial testing phases. Most were eventually sent to Allies through the Lend-Lease program. Dodge VC1. This half-ton command car was part of the first generation of light trucks. It offered decent off-road capability for its size. It served as a vital bridge toward the more heavy-duty models used later in the war. Dodge VC2. This specialized radio car allowed officers to stay connected while on the move. It was essential for coordinating troop movements in the early days. Its rugged chassis could handle surprisingly difficult paths. Dodge VC5. This open-cab pickup allowed for quick exits. It gave the crew better visibility. It was a rugged performer. It paved the way for the famous 3/4-ton series. It handled heavy loads with ease. Dodge VC6. This carryall model was designed to move people and sensitive gear. It featured a fully enclosed body. This kept passengers dry and safe. It was a reliable choice for transport behind the front lines. Dodge WC-56 command car. This 3/4-ton vehicle was the preferred ride for many generals. It was much larger than the smaller scout cars. It was also more powerful. It looked impressive and performed even better in the mud. Dodge VF-401. This 1.5-ton truck was a heavy-duty workhorse during the early years. It was part of a special contract for the Army. It provided the heavy lifting capacity needed before the standard models arrived in bulk. Dodge VF-402. This sturdy truck served as a reliable workhorse during the early years. It was built for tough jobs and could handle heavy loads across rough terrain. Drivers appreciated its rugged design and powerful engine. Up next, Plymouth P11. This civilian-style sedan made its way into military service for essential transport. It offered a smooth ride on paved roads and was very easy to drive. It was often seen carrying officers between various command posts. Plymouth P14. Based on a popular civilian model, this vehicle provided dependable transportation for personnel. It was simple to maintain and proved to be very practical for daily use. Its sleek lines were a common sight around military bases. Then, Ford four-door staff car. This four-door sedan became a staple for moving high-ranking staff. It combined comfort with a reliable engine that could keep up with a fast-moving army. It proved that everyday cars could play a vital role in the war effort. Then, Chevrolet Fleetmaster staff car. This elegant car brought a touch of style to the front lines. It was mostly used for administrative duties and ferrying officers across long distances. Its spacious interior made it a favorite for traveling in relative comfort. Next, Packard Clipper staff car. This high-end vehicle was reserved for top brass and important officials. It featured a streamlined design that really stood out from other military vehicles. It represented the peak of luxury and engineering during a difficult time. Buick Series 40 Special Staff Car. With a powerful engine and a solid frame, this car was built to last. It served as a command vehicle for senior leaders who needed to move quickly. It was respected for its durability and smooth handling on the road. Pontiac Torpedo Staff Car. This car featured a distinct fastback style that was quite modern for its time. It provided reliable service in both domestic and overseas zones. It was a solid choice for transporting personnel safely and efficiently. The next one, Chrysler Royal Staff Car. This car was known for its solid construction and dependable performance. It often served as a mobile office for busy commanders in the field. It was a reliable piece of machinery in a very demanding environment. Continuing with light and medium cargo trucks. Dodge WC1. This versatile 1/2-ton truck was part of a legendary series of light vehicles. It was small enough to be nimble, but tough enough for combat zones. It paved the way for the more famous trucks that followed. Dodge WC3. This open cab truck was designed for quick deployment of troops and light weapons. It handled muddy roads with surprising ease and gave the crew a clear view of their surroundings. It became an essential tool for forward units. Dodge WC-12. This improved version of the 1/2-ton truck featured a more powerful engine and better parts. It was used for everything from carrying cargo to towing light trailers. It was a true jack-of-all-trades on the battlefield. Dodge WC-21. Built on a shorter wheelbase, this truck was exceptionally maneuverable in tight spaces. It carried a small squad of soldiers and their gear right into the action. It was a tough and reliable partner for troops in the field. Dodge WC-22. This variant came equipped with a front-mounted winch for self-recovery. It could pull itself or other vehicles out of the deepest mud. It was an invaluable asset for logistics teams working in poor conditions. Next, Dodge WC-51. This 3/4-ton truck was the backbone of many American units. It was wider and more stable than earlier models, making it much better for off-road driving. Its rugged design made it one of the most successful utility vehicles of the whole war. Dodge WC-53 Carryall. This versatile vehicle served as a heavy-duty station wagon for the front lines. It was perfect for carrying high-ranking officers. It also carried complex radio equipment in its enclosed steel body. Dodge WC-54 Ambulance. This was the primary medical transport for the US Army during the war. Its smooth suspension and heating system saved countless lives. It provided a stable ride for wounded soldiers. Dodge WC-59. A specialized truck designed specifically for communication crews. It carried everything needed to install and repair telephone lines. This included a ladder and heavy tools for signal corps units. Dodge WC-60. This mobile workshop was a lifesaver for broken-down units. It featured a unique utility body filled with tools and parts. It performed emergency repairs right where the action was happening. Dodge WC-62. This 6-wheel drive powerhouse was a stretched version of the standard weapons carrier. It offered increased cargo capacity and incredible traction. It was a favorite for hauling heavy gear through sand and snow. Dodge WC-64 KD Ambulance. This version was designed to be disassembled for easier shipping overseas. Its knockdown design helped save space on cargo ships. It was a clever way to get more medical support to the front lines quickly. Next, Chevrolet G506. This 1.5-ton truck was the backbone of many supply lines. Thousands were sent to allies around the world. It proved that American mass production could win the war of logistics. Then, Ford GTB Burma Jeep. A low-profile truck built for the narrow and rugged paths of the Pacific. Its short wheelbase and maneuverability made it the perfect tool for jungle warfare. It was also vital for airbase construction. GMC CCKW 352, the short wheelbase version of the famous Deuce and a Half. It was designed to pull heavy artillery pieces. It offered a tight turning radius that was essential on winding mountain roads. GMC CCW, a 6x4 version of the classic transport truck. It was designed mainly for use on paved roads. By removing the front drive axle, it saved valuable parts while still delivering massive amounts of cargo. GMC AFK WX 353. This 2.5-ton cab-over workhorse maximized its cargo space by putting the driver right over the engine. It was a vital link in the supply chain, moving massive amounts of equipment across every theater of the war. Studebaker US-6. Known for its incredible durability, this 2.5-ton truck became a legend on the Eastern Front. It could handle the worst mud and ice imaginable, earning the deep respect of the soldiers who relied on it. International Harvester M5H6. Built specifically for the heavy demands of the Marine Corps, this rugged machine proved its worth in the Pacific. It pushed through tropical jungles and sandy beaches where other vehicles simply got stuck. Continuing with heavy cargo trucks and tank transporters. Diamond T968. This 4-ton cargo hauler was built to take a beating. Its massive frame and powerful engine allowed it to carry tons of ammunition and fuel over broken roads without ever breaking a sweat. The next one, Diamond T969. This specialized 4-ton recovery vehicle was a lifesaver on the battlefield. With its heavy cranes, it could pull stuck trucks out of the mud or tow damaged vehicles back to safety for repairs. Diamond T972. When engineers needed to build airfields or repair roads in a hurry, they turned to this powerful 4-ton dump truck. It was the backbone of construction projects that helped the Allies advance. Autocar U8144T. This 5-ton 4x4 tractor was a heavy hitter designed for towing massive loads. It played a critical role in moving pontoon bridges, allowing entire armies to cross deep rivers and continue the fight. Marmon Harrington, NJU. Rare but incredibly capable, this specialized 5-ton tractor was built for unique heavy lifting tasks. Its 4-wheel drive system gave it the traction needed to pull essential equipment through the most difficult terrain. The next one, Brockway B666. This massive 6-ton chassis was a true engineering marvel. It was often equipped with heavy cranes or bridge-building gear, making it a vital tool for keeping the Army mobility at its peak. Brockway C666. Safety was a priority even in a war zone, and this heavy-duty 6-ton fire truck was there to handle the heat. It provided essential protection for airfields and supply depots against the constant threat of fire. White 666. This 6-ton cargo truck was a mainstay of the long-distance supply lines. It was famous for its strength and ability to keep moving, even when overloaded with supplies headed for the front. Ward La France, M1. When a heavy tank broke down, this was the monster called in to fix the problem. Its dual cranes and heavy winches made it the ultimate recovery tool for the most desperate situations. Ward La France, M1A1. This upgraded heavy recovery vehicle featured a simplified cab and improved gear for field repairs. It was an absolute beast that could salvage almost anything, no matter how badly it was damaged. Mack NM. Known as a rugged 6-ton prime mover, this truck carried massive loads. It handled rough terrain with ease. It was built to endure the harshest conditions of the war. Drivers loved its reliability and pure strength. Up next, Mack No. This specialized 7.5-ton tractor was the muscle behind the heavy artillery. It dragged massive guns into position. It moved through thick mud and debris. Without this machine, the big cannons simply could not move. Mack NR. This 10-ton cargo hauler was a long-distance specialist. It moved mountains of supplies from the ports. It went directly to the front lines. Its large tires and sturdy frame made it a legend among the crews. Biedermann C2. Designed specifically for aviation recovery, this heavy wrecker was a lifesaver. It worked on airfields to move crashed planes. It did this with precision and power. It kept runways clear and operational during the busiest times. Federal 604. This 10-ton tractor was a backbone of the transport fleet. It pulled heavy semi-trailers filled with fuel and ammunition. Its simple design was a huge plus. It could be repaired quickly in the heat of battle. Federal 606, stepping up the power. This 20-ton tractor was meant for the heaviest jobs. It handled massive loads that would break lesser machines. It was a true heavyweight champion of the motor pool. Diamond T980. This was the gold standard for tank transporters. It had incredible torque. It could pull a loaded trailer over steep hills. Both American and British forces relied on its massive pulling power. Pacific Car and Foundry. M26, Dragon Wagon. This armored giant was an imposing sight on the road. It was built to recover tanks in combat zones. Its heavy plating kept the crew safe. They could perform the impossible even under fire. Pacific Car and Foundry, M26A1. This version removed the heavy armor to save weight. This increased its speed and efficiency. It focused on hauling massive loads where the immediate threat was lower. It remained a vital part of the heavy transport team. Moving on to high-speed tractors and tracked cargo. M2 High-Speed Tractor. This compact crawler was surprisingly fast and nimble. It was perfect for towing light artillery. It moved gear through tight forest paths. It provided a great balance of speed and off-road power. M4 High-Speed Tractor. Built using components from medium tanks, this tractor was incredibly tough. It could tow the largest field guns. It carried a full crew and their ammunition. It was the primary mover for the heavy-hitting units. M5 High-Speed Tractor. This medium tractor was a favorite for its versatility. It was very easy to use. It towed field guns and anti-aircraft batteries everywhere. It proved that tracked power was the best way to move big steel. M6 High-Speed Tractor. This heavy hauler was built to move the biggest artillery pieces across the mud. It moved massive guns with ease and could carry a whole crew through the toughest terrain. It was a true powerhouse that never quit. M29 Weasel. This updated version improved on the original design to handle even more weight. It was a rugged workhorse that proved essential for moving cargo across soft ground. The troops loved it for its incredible mobility. The next one, M7 Snow Tractor. This compact machine was small but mighty. It was perfect for pulling sleds and light equipment through deep snow where nothing else could go. It was a specialized tool that kept Arctic operations running smoothly. Moving on to half-tracks, M2 half-track car. This was a versatile platform used to tow guns and carry scouts into the thick of it. Its unique design offered a perfect mix of speed and off-road capability. It was a flexible asset that found a role in every theatre of the war. M3 half-track. This iconic machine served as the backbone of mechanized infantry. It was a rugged troop carrier that could handle almost any terrain while protecting the soldiers inside. It helped define modern mobile warfare. M5 half-track. Built with slightly different armor, this reliable vehicle was often sent to help Allied nations. It performed just as well as its cousins and stayed in the fight until the very end. It proved that American manufacturing could support the whole world. Next, M9 half-track. This model was designed for towing and light transport duties. It was a dependable support vehicle that kept the front lines moving and the supplies flowing. It was an essential part of the massive logistics chain. Let's move on to heavy construction, airfield, and logistics tractors. Caterpillar D4. Though it was the smallest of the fleet, this crawler was essential for beach landings. It helped clear paths for larger vehicles and kept the invasion moving forward. It was a tiny titan that did the hard work no one else could. Caterpillar D7. This heavy-duty machine was the heart of combat engineering. It could push through thick brush and build airfields in record time, making it a hero of logistics. It was the reason the Air Force could operate from almost anywhere. Now this is the Caterpillar D8. This massive powerhouse was the biggest bulldozer in the field. It had the raw strength to move mountains of earth and clear even the heaviest debris. It was an unstoppable force that shaped the battlefield. International TD-18. This massive crawler tractor moved mountains of earth to build airfields. It was a rugged beast that never gave up in the Pacific mud. Alice Chalmers HD7. A dependable medium-weight workhorse. It helped engineers clear paths through thick forests and debris with total ease. Clark Airborne Dozer. Small enough to fit inside a glider, this clever little machine allowed paratroopers to build runways almost as soon as they landed. Clark Tor 6 Towing Tractor. You would see this busy machine scurrying around air bases. It spent its days pulling heavy bombers and transport planes into position. Case VAI Tractor. A nimble and reliable utility tractor. It handled everything from moving supplies to light construction duties on military bases. The 5A1 was a true multitasking machine. Case SI Tractor. Another versatile industrial machine. It was perfect for general maintenance and keeping supply lines moving smoothly behind the front lines. The S1 was built to last. Pletrak MG1. This high-speed tractor was a favorite for moving aircraft on soft ground. Its unique design gave it great traction when things got messy. The MG1 kept the runways clear. Let's move on to motorcycles and scooters. Harley-Davidson WLA, known as the Liberator. This legendary motorcycle carried messengers and military police across every theatre of the war. The WLA is an American icon. Harley-Davidson XA, designed for desert warfare with a unique shaft drive. It was a bold experiment that showed how tough a motorcycle could really be. The XA was ahead of its time. Indian 741. This smaller motorcycle was loved for its durability and ease of use. It was a solid choice for scouts and couriers on the move. The 741 was a soldier's best friend. Indian 841. A heavy-duty machine built to handle the heat of the desert. Its special engine layout made it stand out from the crowd. The 841 was a unique piece of engineering. Indian 340B, often seen with a sidecar. This powerful bike was used for heavy-duty dispatch work and transporting vital personnel. The 340B was a heavy hitter on the road. Next, Cushman Model 53 Airborne Scooter, a tiny but mighty vehicle designed to be dropped from a plane. It gave paratroopers a quick way to get around after the jump. This little scooter was incredibly brave. Simplex Servicycle. This lean two-wheeler was built for efficiency. It gave dispatch riders a lightweight way to zip around bases and deliver messages. It was simple, reliable, and surprisingly tough for such a small frame. Next up, Armoured Recovery Vehicles. M31 Tank Recovery Vehicle. This heavy lifter was built on an older tank chassis. It swapped out big guns for a powerful crane. When a tank broke down or got stuck in the mud, this was the beast that hauled it back to safety. M32 Tank Recovery Vehicle. Designed from the ground up to support the armoured fleet. It featured a massive A-frame boom and a heavy-duty winch. Crews relied on this machine to keep the front line moving when things got messy. Up next, M33 Prime Mover. This powerhouse was a converted recovery vehicle stripped of its crane. Its job was to pull the heaviest artillery pieces across the battlefield. It had the muscle needed to move massive guns through deep mud and debris. Up next, M34 Prime Mover. Another specialized conversion designed to tow heavy loads. It provided the necessary torque to keep big guns in the fight. Without its steady pulling power, the heavy artillery would have been left behind. Then, M35 Prime Mover. Created by removing the turret from a tank destroyer, this vehicle was incredibly fast for a tractor. It moved heavy anti-aircraft guns and ammunition with ease. It was a clever way to repurpose older equipment for a vital logistics role. M39 Armoured Utility Vehicle. Based on a high-speed tank destroyer, this was one of the fastest transport vehicles of the war. It could carry infantry or supplies right into the heat of battle. Its speed was its best defense when crossing dangerous territory. Let's move on to amphibious logistics. Duck. This famous amphibious truck changed the way supplies were landed on beaches. It could drive straight out of the water and onto the roads without stopping. It was a masterpiece of design that kept the invasion forces well supplied. The next one, Ford GPA Seep. Think of this as a Jeep that learned how to swim. It was designed for crossing rivers and flooded areas where normal trucks would sink. While it struggled in rough seas, it was a handy tool for inland water crossings. LVT2 Water Buffalo. Featuring an improved suspension, this model was much more comfortable for the troops inside. It could navigate rougher terrain and carry more supplies to the front lines. It became a staple for every major amphibious assault. Then, LVT3 Bushmaster. This advanced model moved its engines to the sides to create a large cargo ramp at the back. It made loading and unloading much faster under fire. It was the gold standard for moving equipment from ship to shore. LVT4 Water Buffalo. This amphibious monster was a game changer for Pacific landings. It could drive right over coral reefs and climb onto beaches. Troops loved the rear ramp because it let them exit safely under cover. Finishing off with trailers. Bantam T3. This was the classic quarter-ton trailer designed to follow a Jeep anywhere. It was light enough to be man-handled into position and rugged enough for rough trails. It doubled the carrying capacity of a small squad without slowing them down. Ben-Hur G518. This one-ton trailer was built for serious hauling behind larger trucks. It was incredibly versatile and used for everything from mobile workshops to water storage. It was built tough and became a common sight on the roads of liberated Europe. M10 Ammunition Trailer. Specifically built to follow tanks and heavy guns into the heat of battle. It carried the heavy shells needed to keep the big guns firing during long barrages. Its low profile made it harder for the enemy to spot and hit. Next, M8 Water Trailer. Keeping troops hydrated was a massive challenge in the field. This 250-gallon tank was a lifesaver in hot climates like North Africa and the Pacific. It provided a reliable source of clean water wherever the unit went. M 945-ton Tank Transporter Trailer. This heavy-duty trailer was part of the famous Dragon Wagon setup. It was designed to pull crippled or fresh tanks across long distances. Moving a 45-ton beast was no small feat, but this trailer made it look easy. M15A1 Tank Transporter Trailer. An improved version with a wider deck to handle the newer, heavier tanks coming off the factory lines. It featured better tires and a stronger frame to withstand the crushing weight of modern armor. Logistics win wars, and this trailer proved it. K38 Telephone Cable Splicer Trailer. Communication was everything on the battlefield. This specialized trailer carried the tools and wire needed to set up phone lines between headquarters. It was a small but critical piece of the massive Signal Corps operation. K52 Trailer. This was a heavy-duty van-style trailer, used mainly for radio and radar equipment. It protected sensitive electronics from the dust and rain of the front lines. It was basically a mobile high-tech command center for its time. The next one, Converto Airborne Dump Trailer. This clever little trailer was designed to be dropped out of a plane with paratroopers. It could dump its load quickly to help engineers build airstrips or defenses in record time. It was a masterpiece of lightweight engineering.